go over some of the PLN, Personal Learning Network. By the way, I like to think of it as Personal Learning Network, Professional Learning Network, but also your Passionate Learning Network. Because I think this really is a piece of passion that goes into this, and that is you kind of connect with people who are passionate about similar things that you are passionate about. So that's what I think of this as. So I have, first, the LinkedIn group is going to come up, and so, Allie, I'm going to click on your picture so that your picture comes up, actually, wherever you are. Here you go.
If you click on it, still,
because I'm
it
talking.
still pops up for her, like
yeah, for her it does, but for me I wanted that one. But in any case, I would like the entire LinkedIn group to come up here and then talk about your LinkedIn experience. Go ahead. And you know how to click through my computer, so I'm going to sit down and not pay, or pay but not drive. There you go. So I think, who is it? You want to start with who? Internet. Who's saying what?
Well, Jen and Aminata's not here.
Correct. Yeah.
Are we going to expand it?
No, don't expand it.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Jen and Aminata are not here, so we have Ali, Jiayan, and Patrick are part of this, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You want to start?
And you can screen share. Did you want to screen share it or no? Allie, what do you think? Do you want to screen share it or no?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. You go first. Okay. For LinkedIn, our rationale for using this site was to create a professional brand. That's where you create your own profile like you would for Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest, whatever site. And but it's more for professional reason, for work. When you make yourself look good, you put up a pretty picture, you put up a lot of good information about your work experience, all that good stuff. Creating professional relationships. You add connections. These are people that you may know. It could be friends from school, or could be some of your coworkers. It could be professors or teachers, or it could be your boss. I wouldn't recommend having your boss as a connection, but
yes, I would.
You would?
Oh, totally. You want to have your boss as a connection.
Really?
It's professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree? I mean, any of you can jump in from afar, but I would definitely recommend.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Actually.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I understand.
I have all my old bosses, and then the people who I've been applying to jobs with, I have them on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're an intern, you may not, but you may want to. A lot of actually internship agencies actually like it if you link with them.
Okay.
Yeah, or companies.
Well, I saw my boss on LinkedIn. I was debating whether I should add him as a connection or not. I wasn't exactly sure. So.
Well, if you don't like them, then
no, it's not that I don't. I
Right.
I like the
It
guy.
depends on your relationship.
Okay.
Tracking future employees, as Ali said, she added people that she was applying work for as connections. So you can, and once again, add information to your resume, posting your online resume, just like you would writing any other resume. You put in your work experience, your education, what volunteer experiences you had, or certifications, or whatever awards you won. You may have won like best percussionist in the marching band. That's what I got. Well,
Cool.
Most improved, but and posting your professional beliefs, your goals and objectives. Does anybody want to add? Zhao, would you like to add your
objectives? I think what are you going to do in after you graduate or in the future? Yeah, and for me, I started really use the LinkedIn is happened last semester. I had LinkedIn a long time ago. I was invited, and at that time I didn't even know what it is. And then I added some friends. I mean, not friends. Even some people I don't know, like Aminata. So far, we still didn't figure out how did we connect to each other. We connect to each other well. I was in China, and we didn't know each other. And then after we hung out last semester, and then we found out, oh, that person, she looks like the person in my LinkedIn. And we can't say who invited, who connected whom first. Yeah.
How did you find her?
I don't know. I didn't know how to use LinkedIn at that
So
time.
it was just suggesting people to you? And
Maybe,
yeah.
probably, yeah. Yeah, it was like fun. And I started really use LinkedIn since last semester because like in an undergrad course like that best introducing to multimedia, something like that, and then you showed us Brad Lombard's LinkedIn, and from his LinkedIn I found he just posted a lot of the work he has done, and his like picture is very professional, and I feel like I wish I can do those things, and he has done. Then post on my LinkedIn, and yeah, and I remember one thing you said is like for the employer, like if you want to apply for some company, and they not just look at your resume, they might search you in LinkedIn and like think they can see you behind you. Yeah, so that's why I won't even show people the things that if they want to look at me, and I don't want them to show nothing on my LinkedIn. So I just started, yeah, like putting information there.
I had, like Zhao Yin, I had my LinkedIn before this presentation, before this project. I had it for maybe about a year and a half, 2 years. I didn't really use it that often, but it's a good idea to use it. I found out through this class because within a few years, well, hopefully maybe next year I'll graduate from here and not have to look for.
What about you, Ellie?
I was going to say, I developed mine a couple weeks actually before this project, so I really jumped into it the whole way, and I added my future employers, got into groups that my future employers were in, and I feel like it was really beneficial because when I had my interview the other day with the charter school in Allentown, she actually brought up points on my LinkedIn, and I was like, ooh, this is really cool. You looked at it, and you're remembering things about it, so it's kind of cool to see.
That's cool. You just started your LinkedIn, and you have already had 117 connections.
Oh, I'm pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I'm just kidding.
So are we going to go to the next slide?
Yeah, we can.
You might need to tell Allie what slide you're on.
No, I can see it behind Zhao Yan.
Oh, yeah, the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So experience, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, updated my LinkedIn. It's, as I mentioned before, I haven't really used my LinkedIn until last week, and I updated information. I updated my profile picture. I put a background picture on it. I added more information to my resume. I added that I was involved with the Special Olympics as an assistant coach. I put in some projects, the web quests we did in this class. 2 mock IEPs I did, one in grad school and the other in my undergrad, and my paper proposal for Intro to Research. And there was other ones as well. I put in my 2 teaching certifications for the state in New Jersey. There's a lot of stuff. I don't remember exactly all of it, but I added a lot more information to there than I had before. So.
Yeah, I added ESU as the graduate school for me, and I put some volunteer experience and my education experience, and I received 2 likes. One is from Ali. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. What about you?
I lurked hardcore because that's just super fun. So every time I added a person, I would look at what they did, and especially when it was someone that I knew but didn't really know what they were into, it was cool to see that too, and cool to see how we connected and how we linked together.
And I saw like you liked, is that the verb liked? You liked a lot of like pages or companies. How did you like find them? Did you just search them, or like your friends recommend that to you?
I found them a lot by lurking on the people's pages because I would see it and I would say, like that looks interesting. Go on that page, and then I would follow it or join that group or connect with it, all that stuff.
Do you check your LinkedIn all the time, like every day? Because I can always see your information updated.
It's like my new Facebook. I'm on it all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like your Facebook. Yeah, that should be helpful. Like, did you did you find your job? I mean, you have your boss there, right?
The what?
So which one happened first? Did
My
you did you ever find like your part-time job from LinkedIn? I mean, the information posted from LinkedIn.
Well, the job that I just recently applied for, the full-time teaching job, when I applied for it, I didn't have my long-term sub job, so that wasn't on my resume, but it was on my LinkedIn, and that was the thing that the principal brought up when she was interviewing me. She was like, jump into your long-term sub job, tell me all about that. So had it not been on my LinkedIn, I feel like I wouldn't have been a top candidate, but because it was, it helped me.
Do you guys have anything else that you wanted to share from your presentation? Did you want to go on to, or no? Oh, that's your graphs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your ratings. Well, maybe you want to say overall. Overall, just how would you rate it as a tool?
I would give it a 4 out of 5 overall, because I think it's really great, and I think it's a really great tool, but I think it still has some flaws, and maybe you should have like a LinkedIn for Dummies kind of thing, because it's not super user-friendly if you're not used to using a Twitter, a Facebook, something like that.
Right, right.
Mm.
I would say the same as Allie. It was a 4 out of 5. Overall, it's a very good site, a lot of good information there, great for professional development. There's a lot of good articles there. You can comment on them. I mean, I read some articles on there. One was about like how to fix problem behaviors and create a culture of good behaviors in your school. And there's like really good information. There was some information there about like if you have a student with like emotional behavioral problems, sometimes they go to counseling, albeit a good thing, but sometimes they use it as an excuse to get out of work. And that made me kind of think about like, oh, I didn't realize that. And so there's a lot of good information there. And you can find work wherever. Like I got in special education. Well, I didn't get applied for these jobs, but from all over the state. Well, like all over the country, Wisconsin, Alaska, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, wherever.
And I might give LinkedIn 4 because I haven't really deeply explored it, and I haven't seen any benefits except the like good articles. Like, can LinkedIn really find as a job? I don't know.
Actually, just so you know, you do not know Brad Lombardo, but he's an undergrad. Basically, because of his LinkedIn profile, and if you look at it, it's really good. And what he did is you can make your own banner, and so he made his own banner for that and things like that. And basically, that's how he got his internship, and that's basically from his internship he now has a job. So it is because people found him, actually. He was applying all over the place, but then some other company actually found him as well. So yes, people do find jobs on LinkedIn, and people do get connected that way. So that's very interesting, and basically all recruiters these days look in LinkedIn. In the United States. I don't know, overseas. Something to keep in mind. But I have a question. None of you mentioned groups. Do any of you belong to the groups?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What groups did you belong to?
I joined teacher education and training, special education. There's like a long, 4208054, and a group called just simply called education, which was K through 12 and higher education. I applied to join the drum experts, but they didn't get back to me.
The drum experts, right? You apply because not everybody goes in there.
Yeah, but I think for that was like professors and professional drummers to go in there, people that make a living off of it.
There you go. And Allie, do you have any groups that you belong to?
I joined so many groups, I couldn't even tell you the name of all of them. But I joined like PSEA, NEA, other teaching ones like technology and teachers, and then I joined the high school I went to. There was like a high school alumni group.
Okay. And just so you know, for all of us, there is an ISTE group. Just so you know, for ISTE, International Society for Teachers in Education. And I belong to that, and I would recommend that. I would also, for those of you who, I don't think the ACT group is okay, but not great. I think it needs to work on. For those of you who are interested in the corporate world, who want to go corporate, you want to think about joining AECT in there, and the different groups in there. I think distance education has something in there.
Oh, I forgot. You can also follow people as well.
Yes.
Not like literally stalk them. Follow like.
Well, you could.
Yeah. Like I followed some educators. A man named Ray Mathis. I think he was from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
A professor. I forgot the college he was in. It was his name was Paul Gavani, and a educator / journalist named Quinn Simpson. I think she was in Illinois. So those are the people I started to follow.
Yvonne or Eric, do you have any groups, especially or people that you follow that you think are very valuable?
On LinkedIn, not necessarily. I consider that that's not, to me, that has been more of a connections, more about, in jobs and things like that. But some people are on there. I use it, and I connect with my boss, former bosses. I actually had a question kind of in general for people, and I always get requests from people, I'm getting a lot from people I don't know. And sometimes I can tell they're from a vendor, so I know that they have thoughts they want to talk to me about whatever product. But does anybody have thoughts on connecting with people you don't know, at all?
I connect with all of them. Everyone who adds me, I connect with.
Okay.
Never know.
I've been very selective, and I didn't know if I was being weird about that.
You may be weird. I give you permission to be weird.
Okay.
I don't connect with absolutely everyone. I am very liberal. I'm probably halfway between maybe you, Yvonne, and maybe you, Ellie. I don't know. But okay, for example, if there's somebody that I don't know that is trying to connect with me, and their job is that they are a banker in Algeria,
Sure.
I'm just not going to connect with you. I mean, and because they can still view my profile. It's not like I've closed everything. But it's like, this is different. LinkedIn is different than Facebook. When you link with somebody, you're hoping that you have a little bit of a connection to them. Now, I have connected with LinkedIn. I've decided a conscious decision to link with people that I don't really know very well, because there's some things where I'm like, oh, well, they might do something interesting. But I don't connect with everybody. I've had some people that were real estate agents. I don't know them. I'm not going to connect with them. Right. I just don't. If I recognize them as a student or something like that, I will. But they can always send, somebody can always send you a personal email message as well, and say, hey,
I've gotten that.
And then we're showing that, oh, I forgot that I knew you, or I forgot that I met you. Because. But I think you're allowed to do that. You have liberty. It's not like
sure. Right.
I was just going to say that I'm actually more liberal with my LinkedIn than I am with my Facebook, because I feel like on LinkedIn it's all things that I don't care if the world knows that I had that GPA in my undergrad. I mean, tell the world, they'd actually like it. But my Facebook is the pictures that I don't want lots of people seeing. So I keep that down to 90 people, no more than that.
There you go. So you have to reason that out. Good. Well, I think LinkedIn group, I'd like to thank you very much. And we want to go on to the next one. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie. All right. So why don't we have Yvonne? Those of you who are on site, if you have trouble hearing, I apologize. I didn't bring my speakers, and it wasn't working quickly, so I didn't try to figure it out. Usually what happens, just so you know, if your speaker system isn't working with your computer, it takes a few different resets for some reason, and I just didn't want to wait that out. So I think, Yvonne, just speak clearly so we can hear you, and tell us about what you did.
Okay. Should I screen share?
Sure.
Okay, let's see if that works.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, just so you know, if you put that because I see that you did a PowerPoint, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to figure out if I just shared my PowerPoint or my browser window. I'm going to stop.
You just shared your PowerPoint, just so you know, but if you do put your PowerPoint in PowerPoint mode, I don't believe it shows the PowerPoint mode. I believe it only shares the sorter mode or the creation mode. So you can click it through.
Just keep clicking through.
Yep,
Okay.
got it.
All right.
Now we're showing your face again. That's good.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my first slide?
We can. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, now I'm going to click on you. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I chose Diigo for my PLN project, partly because I already used Twitter for my PLN, and I wanted to explore another tool, something that I hadn't really used a lot. I think like a lot of people who may have you chose a certain tool, you may have had an account, but you really weren't using it, and that was the same way for Diigo. I have accounts like a lot of people, in the technology field. You have accounts for everything just to try it out, and then you sort of figure out which one sticks. So I chose to go back and look at Diigo, and my goal, and I just changed the slide, and so it was to explore what role can this site like Diigo, this social bookmarking site, which is what it primarily started as, what can that do for my personal learning network? And I don't know if you can see the picture, but it started off as an online bookmarking site, and they added tools as they went. And I kind of like the picture, the way it starts off like the evolution. And so they call it Diigo 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and so on. And right now, they're considering the tool to be kind of your all-encompassing tool to organize everything, to collect and organize everything. So it was online bookmarking. Then they added a tool that you could highlight and put sticky notes on web pages, which is really cool. And then it went to the group-based collaboration tool, which then evolved into the personal learning network usage. So it's kind of like your one-stop shopping, and I'm going to keep moving, talk about the rationale. So one of the biggest benefits I find with the PLN is to find quality content, let others curate it for you. So if you connect with people of who are like-minded, who have a lot of the same interests, who are leaders, in my case in educational technology, when they find something, I'm really going to jump on that, as opposed to, I'm going to go do a Google search, which is fine too, but if they recommend it, I'm more apt to look at it. And so again, I mentioned I use Twitter. So one other question I had was, could I use Diigo exclusively for my PLN, or would it complement what I'm already doing? And because we didn't really do Twitter yet as the PLN tool, but I just find it to be, a great way to connect with people. And then I was also thinking, looking at, do I use my PLN for quality content, or do I use it more for social interaction? And I do have a conclusion, at the end, what I thought. So as a social bookmarking tool for curation, it's really good. It's top notch, and I don't know how well you can see that picture, but it's save your bookmarks in the cloud as opposed to your browser. And I use Chrome, and so no matter where I sign into Chrome, I can get to my bookmarks, but this is sort of a step up where you can log in anywhere on any browser and get to your bookmarks. So that's a cool thing. And you can tag each bookmark, the way you want it tagged for you to find it later on. Like, you could have stuff for a couple years, and when you build it up, the more information you tag, the easier it is going to be to find it. So you have your library of your content. And I sort of kind of went off here and started talking about being able to annotate the web. So you can find the content, but not only can you do that, you can annotate it. And if you install an extension, I know Chrome has it, I believe that they have it for other browsers, you can not only, and that's what this is on the left, that picture, the little D in my Chrome web browser, it helps me quickly curate the content and put it in my account. But not only can you do that, but once you do that and you save it, you can then add a sticky note to a web page. You can highlight parts of the web page with different colors. And then when you go back to that web page, your annotations are there. So you can sort of point to where the important content is on that particular resource. And the cool thing is, I'll talk about groups in a moment, but when you belong to a group and you share that content to the group, your annotations are shared. So you can see what other people think is important and even get to the meat of that content even quicker than you could before. And I just sort of kind of went back to it being an all-purpose research tool in that it's not only bookmarks, but you can put notes, images, and PDFs. And I have sort of a picture here, but there's this big blue add button when you go into your library, and you can just upload it there. So I see it kind of competing a little bit with Evernote and OneNote and things like that, especially with the outliners. They have a tool called Outliners that help you organize your content into different lists.
Wow.
And so when you go into it, and I didn't really demo it because I didn't want to, bandwidth and whatnot, but when you get into the Outliners, it shows all your content on the left, and then you just drag it onto the right. It's really easy. It's awesome. So that helps you with organizing your content into something usable. But then really the power of the groups is where it's at. So I'm only in 2 groups. I didn't join a million groups, but the groups I'm a part of really do have a lot going on. I have Diigo in Education as a group, and there's a page just for groups. There was a page just for your outlines. But here's the groups. So Diigo in Education and Digital Citizenship. I just decided, okay, yep, I'm going to go in that. And it was an open group. I didn't have to be approved to get into that. But what I liked was when I went into the group, and I don't know if you can see this lower picture on the lower right, 2 posts, everything teachers need to know about Evernote. I got an email when that was posted. So, and I turned that off, if I don't want that. But then I thought, oh, I'm going to go look at that. And then I can comment, I can like, and then I can save that bookmark to my content.
That's nice.
That is really nice. And here's a second one underneath, Learning in Hand. And he's got all of the tags too. How many people looked at it? 96 views, 28 views. But here, there's a little notation about the resource, which is what you get on Twitter, I would think. And then people are interacting right there. And that's easier to see than, say, on Twitter. Because you just kind of have to aggregate it, which you can do. But it's just a different presentation. The community, there's even more. Like, it just even got bigger and bigger the way, the more I looked at it. So I've just scratched the surface. There's hot bookmarks, so what's popular, so what's trending, like in Twitter, and maybe I shouldn't say that, I'm stealing the thunder of the Twitter people, but you could see your followers and people you follow. So it's kind of like Twitter. and some of the people, like this gentleman's, he's actually on my LinkedIn. And I found him, and we instantly connected. So you can kind of cross over different platforms, and that was kind of interesting as well. So my qualitative and quantitative data were just basically, I kind of just went on for about an hour at a shot, and I had pretty good experiences, you know, every time. And it was really because of the quality of the community and of the groups that I thought it was very beneficial. So at the end, I'd say really my main PLN tool will probably continue to be Twitter, simply because my PLN uses Twitter. And that's where everybody's at. And I would say, and I don't know the stat, but more educators seem to be using Twitter for the most part right now for PLNs than most of the other tools out there. I'd like to know really how many educators are on there, because, you know, if there's a huge a lot of them, to me, I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and maybe, you know, maybe the second place to go. So I'm going to keep using it because it's really handy to curate and annotate content, and I'm going to just continue to grow with the communities and educators and recommend it to my PLN. But I will make this one comment. It's just anecdotal. I didn't really put it anywhere else, but I saw something from Alan November, and I think it was on Twitter or something like that, which would be kind of ironic, but he just said Diigo is where it's at. Diigo is the tool for the PLN. And that kind of intrigued me, and I think that probably belongs on slide 1, but that's another reason I chose it. So that's pretty much it.
Does anybody have any questions for Yvonne? I would say that, Yvonne, I could totally relate to what you said. You know, we instructional technologists have accounts everywhere, and then you go, oh, you know, I had a Diigo account kind of like, you know, I had Delicious. I don't know if you had Delicious one time.
Yeah, I do.
And then I had Delicious for 2 years, and then I went to Diigo, and then I was like, oh, I'm getting so overwhelmed by these bookmark stuff. I have to let it go for a while. And so it's probably been about 2 years since I've been, you know, back to the social bookmarking, and I've had it kind of on my agenda of things to do kind of this summer. Actually, it was on my agenda to do last summer too. So, but I think you know, you're making me think I probably want to go there.
It's awesome. It just was like an onion. I kept peeling it, and it was bigger and bigger. And then the annotating the web is just outstanding. I think that will help me be more productive.
Right. Cool. Does anybody else have any questions? Either those who are on site or online. You know, Eric or Allison. Anybody? Well, thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you. I guess there's a clap thing in here somewhere, right? On the other. All right, so thank you so much. So, since we did an online one, why don't we do an on-site group? So I'm going to ask the Twitter group to come up. And the Twitter group is right here. And is your Twitter group, is your presentation, it is in Google Docs, right? So we can go right to here. And I'm wondering if we should do something similar to what we did. Here it is. Oh, no, that's your. Here we go. It's right in there. I think I just put it right in there, the Twitter experiences. And I'm going to link to it out here, and I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to try to put it behind the people who are presenting. I'm going to do one of these. Let's see. I don't know. You can't really see it. Glare. Yeah.
Well.
Oh, it depends where you stand.
So maybe just stand. Well.
Okay. No, here we go. Like that. Although it's backwards. That's good. That's funny. It's a, yeah, can you see that? I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what we could do instead of a screen share, but we can do a screen share. So why don't we do a screen share? So, so I'm going to choose this one, and that way we can do that. All right, Twitter people, come on up.
Okay, so how does this work? That we are.
What what you want to do is go to the screen itself, not the screen share, right there. You got it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So, we did ours on Twitter,
Mhm.
and the goal of Twitter is to learn, explore, and navigate Twitter in a professional setting in order to learn all the benefits that it has.
Cute. Your hashtag was
Yeah.
cute.
Okay, so why we chose Twitter, because we felt that it would be a great platform to enter the media industry.
That was mine.
Well, there are various reasons because of our different backgrounds. So mine was to find resources for the classroom, to use it, and we all decided to use it as a promotional medium. It could be used to network with other professionals, which we all could do, and to explore new and different information that could be beneficial. Okay, so my experience. I use my avatar. Although my colleague says I look short and fat, I said, but reality, you know. She said to zoom in and just put the headshot there. But anyway, so in the beginning, I found when I first set up my profile, I found it interesting that when you go down to choose what you want to be involved with, education isn't one of them. It had like, you know, sports, all the interest areas were sports, entertainment, all that kind of stuff. Education wasn't there. So I was a little frustrated at first, but then I started to really look at other areas and try things like my colleague had said, look at what I go on so you can get an idea. And then from there I expanded and found great deal of information that was pertaining to me, and there are so many preschool websites or sites, I guess, and one that was really that I find interesting. It's called Fried Technology. It's Fry Ed Technology, and that one has a lot of information on it too. But of course, I follow Macy, which is for young children. So that was my experience. But by the end, and I don't know, even well, when you look at my experiences, I couldn't find really any kind of real pattern like we said the other day. The more they were on, more valuable, but it was pretty even. Some days I got more frustrated, like week 2, when I had to watch a video to figure out how to add the profile picture and different things like that. That one I didn't find as valuable, but by the end, when I started to find things that were more pertaining to me, then I did find a lot of value in it.
Am I next? Oh.
Yeah, this is experience.
Did you skip ahead?
Well, this is your experience chart, and then this is your experience.
Right. All right, so it doesn't matter. All right. The pictures show basically what you will look at. Oh, this is just moving. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. Would show. I had an issue basically people following you back on Twitter. With LinkedIn, I think it's a lot easier with the connect thing than it is with Twitter. To gain followers is it's tricky.
I agree. Yes.
I mean,
Twitter.
but what I can say is, for what I used it for, this is my another Twitter from as far as my personal Twitter. This is like just my tech Twitter. Is endless things you could find when you search any word as far as technology, education, media and technology, digital media, and it takes you to all these things like these pages, which then take you to articles, PDFs, videos. Like, to be honest, like I feel like that's one of the best things about Twitter is because it's endless possibilities of things it could lead. It's almost like a web quest. It's almost like a motion web quest, like a
motion web quest.
Yeah, because everything's in motion, you know. And this is my chart. I think after I look at the chart, I felt like the more time does not necessarily mean more experience. Yeah. But less time, I don't know. I feel like this is something that's, once you search a word and you're on the third thing already, like say you search digital media and now I'm on the third user's tweet or whatever they tweeted out, you're pretty much, like, it's really information based. So after searching one word, one thing that somebody tweeted out, you're pretty much done if that's all you wanted to look at.
That's why I use it a lot coming into summer. I don't know what happened in spring. I'm so busy, but I just like 5-minute professional development. You know, just that 5-minute burst. You know, what's new. You know,
Yeah,
and you know about
literally
5 minutes. I can learn something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my Twitter for my radio show called Heart to Heart, and I use my Twitter to help promote my show, as well to tell people what they're listening to, and to talk to people who are listening, like if they have a request or anything. And also, I recently, since we started this project, I started using it. I kind of copied off of the Twitter profiles for like actual radio hosts. So what do they tweet about? And they tweet about things that are going on in the media. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that too. I'm just gonna retweet them. And so maybe if my listeners don't listen to them, they can still get that information. And I think that's a big part of Twitter. It's not only getting information for yourself, but giving information as well. So that's what I use mine for. And the second picture is the followers that I got because I would normally use my Twitter profile every Tuesday when I would have my show. So, and I would only really tweet the songs that I was playing. But since we started the profile, since I started it for the project, I started using it like every day. And because I started using it more, I started getting a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So the more and using hashtags definitely works to help you get followers.
Are key.
Hashtags are key. So, and a lot of people were also mentioning me, and I think one thing too, you have to make sure your bio has a good explanation, because this one, the official Twitter of Heart to Heart on 90.3 WESS. So, boom, automatically, people who are going to follow me who are artists. So every day I'm getting like 5 mentions from people, listen to my mixtape, listen to this song, listen to this, because they want to be on the radio. So that's kind of cool, because then if the right person sees them tweeting me, then they will follow me and then get and then know me, I guess. My chart is different, but I would kind of like everyone else, I wouldn't say the amount of time that you spend on Twitter amounts to how effective it was or how valuable you found it, because I could send out one tweet that said, hey, Heart to Heart is on tonight at 7 p.m., hashtag Go West, and then that tweet could get 20 retweets. But then I could tweet something about some media about an artist that people don't really like, and it wouldn't get any feedback from it. So I don't think I think it's about the content that you put out and not about the time that you spend on there. That was basically it about that. Yeah.
For your people like put their own like songs they actually wrote themselves.
Yeah, like if they have a YouTube page, they'll put a link to their YouTube or a link to their SoundCloud, or sometimes I get like messages from people and they say, hey, check out my website.
Very cool.
Yeah. But I don't do it though. I just favorite it, act like I listen to it.
We're being recorded.
So, I'm pretty sure nobody on here.
I'm going to put this in or no?
But yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to watch this recording and say, hey, that girl. They don't even know which one I am in that picture, so it doesn't matter.
Right now we're screencasting, so right.
They don't know which one I am in the picture, so.
Okay, cool.
But
go ahead. What do you recommend the next step?
Just say the music wasn't clean. That's why you didn't listen to it.
But how was I supposed to know it wasn't clean if I didn't listen to it?
Say the majority of the music you get sent to you is clean. And
so that's why I don't play it on my show?
Yeah, that's what I never used to play it on the radio on my show.
Yeah,
so
I don't
just say it was
either.
dirty.
Yeah. So what we recommend, I personally recommend using TweetDeck and Hootsuite if you are trying to always, because I think the more traffic you have on your Twitter, the more stuff that you put, the more beneficial it will be to you, because then people will see your tweets, and that's how you can connect with other people who are interested in the same thing as you. And with Twitter, TweetDeck, and Hootsuite, you can post tweets before you want them to be posted, which is really cool because you don't have to remember, oh, it's 7 o'clock. Let me remember to tweet this about my show at 11. So I think that's really beneficial.
For the forgetful.
Yeah, and just so that you don't have to do it later. That you spend an hour loading all these tweets in, and now you don't have to worry about it for 2 weeks.
Oh, so you could tweet your whole playlist.
Yeah.
For the hour.
But no, I don't think that's not beneficial.
Doesn't really work because it's not like now playing. You don't. Really
Exactly.
And I know I would need to find and follow more beneficial accounts. And at this point, I'm thinking instead of finding them, that I need to just concentrate on the ones I'm in just to get to know them better.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be mine, and learn how to do the hashtags and the retweeting.
Yeah, hashtags.
Favorite thing I can do.
Well, we'll see if we can cover that at some point, the hashtags, because the hashtags are key, really, to make it powerful.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And then be yourself, because if you're trying to be someone that you're not, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be hard because you're going to try and keep up this persona, then somebody's going to get catfished. Yeah. That was it.
That's like a gift and a curse, though, too, because a lot of times people's Twitter persona, I got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, for my actions on Twitter.
Yep.
So it's a gift and a curse, is what I'm trying to say. Like sometimes it's good to have that persona, but then when it starts to cross over, lines get blurred. And
there's a book that just came out, and maybe Yvonne or Eric or somebody virtual, or maybe Brownie, you know the name. It just came out, I think, this past fall, about people whose lives were basically ruined after Twitter, because what they wrote was totally misinterpreted, and basically their careers were gone. And I can't remember, it was on NPR not too long ago. What's that?
So I feel.
Think about the football player from Bloomsburg who tweeted out about the Little League player.
Baseball player, yeah.
What
a baseball player from
12-year-old girl he was tweeting about. He called her
slut.
Yeah.
No. That wasn't what the kid from Bloomsburg said. He just said that he was tired of seeing her.
I think he called her a slut.
No, he did. I read that he said slut.
It was like a rant, like the young girl who
Monet.
Yeah.
Davis.
Yeah.
They
Monet.
were making a Disney movie about her, and he was like, "I'm tired of seeing sluts getting stuff like this."
Ooh, well, that's kind of.
But you know,
I don't like that language,
but
in that moment, yeah.
But it's sad to say, like, I don't know, like where is, like, I don't know, the lines of artistic freedom get crossed when you start talking about underage.
Yeah.
She's under 18 or whatever. But if she was of age.
A good point.
I feel like he's allowed to say that.
Isn't it?
Still, though, he lost so much. He lost his scholarship.
This dude was graduating in May.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was graduating in May. He legitimately got kicked out of school, off the team.
Wow.
Yeah.
But and yet it's right, the big consequences. And there was an example of the one that NPR was that there was a reporter. She did a real nice job, and when she was landing in Africa, she said. She wrote something and she meant it intended one way, and the universe literally took it another way. And she was a white woman, and I think she was from England, and I can't remember the name of the reporter. And she tweeted out, you know, something about AIDS. Well, I don't have to worry about anything because I'm white. But she meant it as I'm a white privileged woman. And as a result, people have this bias about me, so they'll leave me alone.
Which
but
even still could be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Even the way she meant it.
Exactly. And so what happened was...
No, but what she was saying was that, like, no one will bother her.
Yeah,
so
but and she meant it kind of like as a sly on the world. Like, this should not be the way that it is, but this is the way it is. And
Right.
it's
Because
too
I'm
bad.
white and I'm going to Africa, I don't have to worry about it.
But you can't convey that in that many characters. In 140 characters, you cannot convey that. You can't convey what you really mean. And I think of how many times I say something and I thought, oh, thank God that wasn't recorded. Right. Or thank God that little soundbite wasn't taken out of context, because it could come across the wrong way.
And in writing,
that's
don't press send.
Yeah,
yes, don't press send. Don't press send.
That's why I think with Twitter, because we're talking about it as a professional.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like you should only use it as your you should only use it professionally. So
That's
these
what I
are
think,
you
too.
shouldn't put like the professional one. You shouldn't use it to put your feelings or your job. Like that's why, like for example,
Then it's like,
mine.
when do you bring it's
When do you
weird
bring
'cause-
your personality?
Yeah.
Right, but then even when you have a personal account, like I feel like there's either way you look at it, they're gonna get you. You're gonna get railroaded for tweeting, quoting, Facebooking, even if it's I did it from my personal account and not my business account.
Yeah,
Then it
you're right.
reflects bad upon the business
Yes, it
that you're
does.
working for, etc. It's like you just really can't tweet, Facebook, post.
Carol,
anything.
you had
Yeah.
something?
Well, I was just thinking too. One of the things I put today in on the discussion board, it reminded me of my son who went to the Philippines for 6 months, and now he really has this really good rapport with the people because you don't really know the cultural differences, and when
Yes.
people are reading what you wrote and you're not sensitive to their culture, it makes it tough. And he said he gets really annoyed with the people on the job who haven't been there, and they deal with the same people, but they don't know how to really understand, because there are some things that like we would consider like, wow, I can't believe they're doing that, but for them it's the way life is. They're more laid back,
Yeah.
they have different attitudes toward things, but they're very efficient at what they do, but it's very misconstrued by Americans.
And so you tweet something, yeah.
And so if you tweeted something, it would be the same thing.
And you had a hand over here with Patrick?
Patrick.
Nice and louder, come over here, one or the other.
I have two things. It's about like the tweeting and stuff like that. You really can't. I was watching Bill Maher the other day, and they said that if you've ever heard of him. Oh, okay. I was watching Bill Maher last week, and he said that like you can't get away with saying anything. Because he was talking about a comedian, Chris Rock. He was doing a presentation. He did a stand-up comedy in some college, and I guess he told a joke about black people. And you would think he usually gets away with it a lot of times, but a lot of the college kids there, he went in this college like booing him because they thought he was a racist.
You're talking about Bill Maher.
Yeah, well, Bill Maher. He was talking about
Chris
Bill
Rock.
Maher, Chris Rock. Yeah. You really can't get away with anything anymore.
And yet you have to be careful, as you said, Ron, because at the same time you want to be yourself, right? And so where is the line? Or if your words are misunderstood by somebody else, like you said, I mean, it's in different cultures, different everything.
Now I feel like it's like all or nothing.
Yeah.
And it's especially so when it's written rather than when it's spoken.
Yeah.
Good point.
Because spoken, you can easily lie your way out of it, but when it's written, they have the
Yeah, people always.
Or redirect.
They
You can
screenshot
redirect.
it, and then they have.
I'm the daughter of a lawyer, so.
I had one more recommendation, and I figured this out yesterday or 2 days ago on my personal Twitter. I think you really, really need to pay attention to who you follow.
More on Twitter.
Because, and it's only for your own personal
Or
benefit.
who follows you, rather?
Well, I don't care who follows me.
They
I'm
can
more-
see the stuff you're tweeting.
Well, yeah,
I think it's the other way around.
But I'm
Okay,
saying you need to pay attention to who you follow, because then you don't want to have BS on your time feed, on your timeline. Because I'm going through my timeline now, unfollowing people because these are people that have been following since 2009, and I mean, in 2009, Twitter was fun. I was using it to talk to people, to have fun, but now I'm trying to use it to better myself, or like
Read
to
through the maliciousness.
boost myself, and you guys are still talking about the same things you've been talking about since 2009, so you have to know who to follow, because they may not, it's just taking up space. Yvonne, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna share that I did a in-service on PLNs at the end of last school year, and the superintendent at my school district, actually both the super and the assistant, both use Twitter like really well, and to get messages out. But they also put out stuff like no school today, that kind of thing, and the kids follow them. And so, he has a lot of conversations with kids, but the other thing he said, he came into my session when I was giving it, and I said, well, do you have any experiences? And he said, well, there was somebody who was impersonating me, and they did the whole, like, profile. They made it the exact same, except it looked like a legit thing. Wow. And then they were, like, calling off school, when it was like a snowy day, like it was weird, and then they figured out who did it. They just kind of did the detective work, and and he said he's like he's not afraid of that, because he also was concerned about who was following him. Like, anybody could follow you, and he just said, I just got over it. Because he's, you know, the superintendent of a school district, some people might get upset if some, like, weird person follows you, and he just kind of, it was a evolution. He had to go through to accept it, but he loves the tool. So that's it.
Thanks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Alex said.
My coworkers are so listening, and so
Thanks,
cool.
coworkers.
So one girl was like, "That is so cool."
That's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:35. So I'm. This is my thought. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you think otherwise, I think next week we ought to have another Google Hangout. And I think we ought to take the time, and I think this is really valuable, your presentations, right? And so, like, Brianna, if you could do yours next week, which is Instagram, I believe. And Eric, what did you do? I can't remember.
Edutopia.
Edutopia. Okay. So I think it's kind of it's worth having the time instead of rushing through it quickly. And also next week we don't have a lot of presenting. I don't need to present a lot. So I think this would be valuable to do next week. Are you all okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then for this week, you only have 1 week. I'll stop broadcasting actually as I talk about this week. So because we don't need that. I just wanted to put in there, you know, great job to everyone who did their presentations today. Really, you know, fine work. I'm glad that you tried out these different personal learning networks. There's lots of resources online on how to continue them. And hopefully, like Carol, you had mentioned that figuring out the hashtag thing. Let's do that. And I'm going to figure out the Diigo thing this summer. And I want to see how you can connect the two and connect all these different things. And I also want to show you Flipboard. So maybe I'll show that to you next week, too. Because none of you use Flipboard. Is that correct?
I've used
Flipboard. Oh, I'm loving it. Let me tell you. So, that's been my thing too, for my personal learning. It's not as much of a network. I know it could be more, but you know, I use it a lot for my personal learning. So, thank you to all of you. Tonight, I am going to be going over to the auction that they're having over here. It's always fun to watch the kids in the TV studio, and I encourage all of you to do that. Also, reminder to you, and I am going to put this in the recording. Our media fair is coming up. And Yvonne, I'm going to post some things online, and I know you're not here on campus, but if you would like to submit some things to the media fair, you're welcome to. And Chris Cup, if you listen to this out there, and Eric, you're more than welcome to. And there's some neat categories and some things we did in the past. So I'll put that up probably sometime this weekend. Right? But I think hopefully your project is, you know, explained out there, so you can figure that out for next week. And that will be due next week. And we'll do these presentations. We'll finish up next week too.
Okay.
And just so you know, we will not have class. We'll have class next week.
Mm-hmm.
We will not have class the 23rd or the 30th. Face-to-face may meet on the 23rd. We may meet on the 23rd. I'm thinking we will for a little bit those who want to, but on the 30th we will not meet because we have our media fair, and I'll be going nuts. So there you go. And I'll tell you more about that next week. So have a good one, and we'll see y'all later.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, question.
I'm sorry, no one else has to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I know you were explaining it a little bit earlier, but I was just getting frazzled with the Google Hangout. For the video collaboration, we don't actually have to make the video, correct?
No.
Okay, and I just wanted to make sure. And then also, does it have to follow the theme that we've been going with? Because I was actually going to do a video collaboration for my chemistry class.
No,
so I was going to do the write-up for that.
It does not have to do, it does not have to, the video collaboration does not have to be a part of anything else you've done thus far.
Okay.
It can be totally different. And so, yeah, like Yvonne, I know that you want to do something probably with your teachers, you know, think about what you want to do next and hash it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of you, think about what you want to do next, and this is your opportunity to figure it all out, okay? All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.